Hello children. So today we will start with a new chapter. Chapter number 3, Atoms and Molecules. The topics to be covered in this chapter are laws of chemical combination, atoms and molecules, writing chemical formula, and molecular mass and mole concept. So let us start with the first topic, that is laws of chemical combination. Now in the first and the second chapter, we learnt about matter and different types of matter. Okay, so we know what is matter. The different matter is anything that we see around us, right? It can be sugar, it can be salt, soil, clothes, gold, silver, etc. These are all matter. Now, there was an Indian philosopher named Maharishi Kannad. He said that if we go on dividing matter, okay, in Hindi matter is called as Padhartha. Okay, so Maharishi Kannad said that if we go on dividing matter, we will get smaller and smaller particles of matter. If we again keep on dividing the particles, a stage will reach where we will get smallest particle of matter and which we cannot divide it further. Okay, it becomes indivisible. He named that smallest particle of matter as Parmanu. So, Maharishi Kannad was the first person to propose that matter is made up of small particles called Parmanu. Another Indian philosopher, Pakyuda Katyayama, he said that these small particles of matter or Parmanu, they normally exist in combined form. And these combination of particles gave us various kinds of matter. And this combined form of small particles of matter are called as molecules. Okay, so when the smallest particles, when they combine together, it forms molecule. Around the same time, two Greek philosophers, Democritus and Leucippus, even they suggested the same thing, that if we go on dividing matter, a stage will reach where we will get the smallest particle of matter. Okay, and that smallest particle cannot be divided further. It becomes indivisible. Okay, so Democritus named this indivisible particle as atom. So we can say that matter is made up of atoms and molecules, because when atoms combine, it forms molecule. So we can say that matter is made up of atoms and molecules. Now this was only philosophical consideration. There was no experimental evidence for this. Okay, by the end of 18th century, scientists now they know the difference between elements and compound. Okay, now the scientists started developing interest. They developed interest in knowing how and why elements combine and what will happen if elements combine. So all scientists had this interest in knowing how elements combine. So Antoine Lavoisier, he was the first person who laid foundation in chemical sciences by establishing the laws of chemical combination. Okay. Now, before knowing what is law of chemical combination, let us understand the meaning of chemical combination. Now, chemical combination or chemical reaction. In this picture, you can see I have acid and base. You already have learned in 7th standard. When acid and base, when they react with each other or when they mix with each other, what happens? Neutralization reaction takes place. that is salt and water is formed. So something new is happening over here. And that is called as chemical combination or chemical reaction. When you mix two substances, a new thing is formed. That is called as chemical reaction. When we mix salt and water, what will happen? We get salt solution. So over here, nothing new substance is formed. Only salt is getting mixed with the water. I can say it is a physical change. Okay, so I hope you know the difference. I hope now you understood what is what is the meaning of chemical combination or chemical reaction. Now, laws of chemical combination. When substances react with each other, they follow certain law. And these laws are called as laws of chemical combination. Okay. So laws of chemical combinations are experimental laws which have been formulated by the scientist after performing large number or several number of experiments. And these experiments involve reaction with different, it involves various chemical reactions. Okay, that is called as law of chemical combination. The first, in this chapter, there are total 3 laws of chemical combination. But in this chapter, you will learn only 2 laws of chemical combination. The first one is law of conservation of mass. This law was given by Antoine Lavoisier. Okay, it was given by Antoine Lavoisier. This law states that mass can neither be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. Okay, mass can neither be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. So in simple terms, in a chemical reaction, mass is neither lost nor gained. So there is no change in mass. The mass is conserved. And that is how we get the law of conservation of mass. In a chemical reaction, mass can neither be created nor destroyed. Now this was experimental. Okay, experimental evidence was given by Antoine Lavoisier. So for this experiment, okay, over here we are taking 2 solutions. One is sodium sulfate and another is barium chloride. So first what we will do, take solution of barium chloride in the conical flask. Then in the small test tube, take solution of sodium sulfate. And then place the test tube inside the conical flask. But be careful that the test tube remains above the liquid level. It means that both the solution should not mix with each other. Okay, so a thread is tied around the test tube. And then the mouth of the conical flask is closed with a cork. Okay, remember the test tube, the solution in the test tube and the solution in the flask, it should not mix with each other. Okay, now this whole setup or this whole apparatus is weighed. After weighing, okay, let us say it was about X gram. Okay, the weight of this apparatus was X gram. Now after weighing, what we will do? We will remove the cork. So as we remove the cork, what will happen? The thread will become loose. So as the thread is becoming loose, what will happen? The test tube will mix with the solution present in the conical flask. So what is happening? Over here, mixing of solution is taking place. That is mixing of sodium sulfate and barium chloride. So as both the solution mix with each other, a chemical reaction took place. That is, white color precipitate. It means white color solid substance of barium sulfate was formed and sodium chloride solution was present. So over here a chemical reaction took place. After chemical reaction took place, again weigh the apparatus. So when we weigh this apparatus again, it was found that the mass was x gram. It means there is no change in the mass. Before mixing, the mass was x gram. After mixing, the mass is again x gram. So it means what? There is no gain or loss of mass. The mass is conserved. So from this we can say that mass can neither be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. Now let us see this in equation form. So we had barium chloride and sodium sulfate. So they are called as reactant. Now what do you mean by reactant? Reactant means the two substances when they react with each other or when they combine with each other. Okay, they are called as reactant. So when barium chloride and sodium sulfate, when we mix them, they react with each other. And what happened? We got a new product, that is barium sulfate and sodium chloride. So in a chemical reaction, we have two sides. One is reactants. When you mix them, you get a new substance that is called as product. So even I can say that in a chemical reaction, the mass of reactant is equal to the mass of product, right? Because we have just learned that mass is neither gain nor loss. So if there is neither gain or loss of mass, then definitely the mass of reactant should be equal to the mass of product. So can you tell me why there is no change in the mass? Any idea why there is no change in the mass in the chemical reaction? Because what is happening over here, atoms, they are neither created nor destroyed. So what is happening? Only atoms are rearranging themselves and forming into a new product. Nothing new is formed, nothing is lost from here. So it is rearrangement of the atom taking place. Okay, so the mass of reactant is equal to the mass of product. Now there is so based on this law of conservation of mass, we have numerical. So just let us look at one of the numerical. Okay, it says that sodium carbonate reacts with ethanoic acid to form sodium ethanoate, carbon dioxide and water. Okay, so what it says, we have sodium carbonate. Sodium carbonate reacts with ethanoic acid. So they both are reactants. So when they both react, it forms a new product, that is sodium ethanoate, carbon dioxide and water. Now over here the mass is given 5.3 gram of sodium carbonate reacted with 6 gram of ethanoic acid to form 8.2 gram of sodium ethanoate, 2.2 gram of carbon dioxide and 0.9 gram of water. Show that this data verifies the law of conservation of mass. Okay, it means we have to prove that mass of reactant is equal to mass of product. It means mass is conserved, mass is not created nor destroyed. Okay. So first, in this we know what are the reactants and what are the product. Sodium carbonate and ethanoic acid, they are reactants, and sodium ethanoate, carbon dioxide and water are products. So we have to prove that mass of reactant is equal to mass of product. So first what we will do, we'll find the mass of reactant. Mass of reactant. So what we'll do, we will add the mass of sodium carbonate and ethanoic acid. So when we add them, the answer is 11.3 grams. Now after this, we'll find the mass of products. The mass of product is what? We will add sodium ethanoate, carbon dioxide and water. So it is 8.2 plus 2.2 plus 0.9. So when you add them, the answer is 11.3 grams. So you can see that the mass of reactant and the mass of product, it is equal. Okay, so we can say that this problem, okay, this data verifies the law of conservation of mass. Okay, since mass of reactant is equal to mass of product, this given data verifies the law of conservation of mass. Okay, I hope you have understood. I'll come to the next law, second law, that is law of constant proportion, or we can say law of definite proportion. This law was given by Joseph Proust. Okay, Joseph Proust, he gave the law. Let us see what this law says. The law states that in a chemical substance, the elements are always present in definite proportions by mass. Okay, so this law means that in a chemical compound, okay, a chemical compound is always made up of same elements. Okay, it means the formula is fixed. Okay, in a chemical compound, it is always made up of same elements and the elements are present in fixed proportion by mass. Okay, it is always made up of same element and the elements are present in, they have a fixed proportion by mass. So whatever be the source, the compound will contain, it will always contain same elements and the elements are present in fixed proportion by mass. Let us take an example. You can see water. Water is a compound. It is made up of two elements, hydrogen and water. You can see that water is made up of two hydrogen and one oxygen. So this will remain fixed. A water will always be made up of two elements, hydrogen and oxygen. Whatever will be the source, whether the water is obtained from rivers, ponds, lake, sea, it will always be made up of hydrogen and oxygen. Now let us check their mass of hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, now mass of one hydrogen element is 1 unit. Over here water contains 2 hydrogen, so it will be 2 multiplied by 1, that will be 2 unit. Mass of one oxygen element is 16 unit. Okay, so when we take the ratio, that is 2:16, we can reduce it. 2 ones are 2, 2 8s are 16. So the ratio of mass of hydrogen to the mass of oxygen, it is 1:8. So remember, in water, hydrogen and oxygen, they will always be present in this ratio, 1:8. There is 1 part of hydrogen and 8 part of oxygen. Whether the water is coming from river, from ponds or from lake, Okay, it will always have the elements fixed and the proportion or the ratio of the element will be 1:8. Let us take another example. Ammonia, NH3. It is made up of two elements, hydrogen and nitrogen. Whatever be the source, ammonia, it will always be made up of two elements only, that is hydrogen and nitrogen. Let us check their mass. Okay, now mass of one nitrogen element is 14. Okay, mass of one hydrogen element is 1 unit. Over here we have 3 hydrogen, so it is 3 multiplied by 1, answer will be 3 unit. If we take the ratio, it will be 14:3. We cannot reduce 14:3, so it will be 14:3 only. So whatever be the source, ammonia will always contain nitrogen and hydrogen element, and they will always be present in 14:3 ratio. That is 14 parts of nitrogen and 3 parts of hydrogen. Over here we have a numerical. Again we have numerical based on law of constant proportion. Okay, so this says that hydrogen and oxygen, they combine in the ratio of 1:8 by mass to form water. What mass of oxygen gas would be required to react completely with 3 grams of hydrogen gas? Okay, so what they are saying, hydrogen and oxygen, they combine in the ratio 1:8. So now if we have 3 grams of hydrogen gas, so how much should be the mass of oxygen gas? It's very simple. Okay, so if we have 1 gram of hydrogen and 8 gram of oxygen. Okay, this is how much water contains. So if there is 3 gram of hydrogen, how much will be oxygen? So what we'll do, we will cross multiply. So answer will be 24 grams. Okay, so it means for 3 gram of hydrogen, the oxygen will be 24 grams. So the ratio will be how much? The ratio will be 3:24. Now if you try to reduce it, 3 1s are 3, 3 8s are 24. So again we got 1:8. So it means water, like I said, the elements hydrogen and oxygen, they're always present in the ratio 1:8. Okay, I hope you have understood the laws of chemical combination. Thank you, children.